got a bit of breaking news that Liverpool fans might not want to hear. This is news coming into us, Crookie, who's going to say this news with a big grin on his face as well.
Well, you never like to see anybody get injured, to be fair. But, bad start to 2023 for Liverpool. Now being reported that the hamstring injury that Virgil van Dijk suffered against Brentford could be more serious than Liverpool initially hoped and feared. It could be a fairly significant layoff for Virgil van Dijk. Danny Murphy has just said off air, well, they're okay at centre-half. I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with that if Van Dijk is out for a prolonged period of time.
Well, I mean, okay as in...
There's cover.
We're not talking about 2 seasons ago where we were struggling to
Jordan Henderson and Fabinho at times.
Yeah, so, Matip, more than capable. We know his qualities. Canate back, and then Gomez will be itching to have a run in the team. So they're good players we're talking about who should be able to...
They're not Van Dijk, though.
They're not. No, of course. But at least there is some strength and depth in that area.
Yeah, and I think young Nat Phillips as well. Every time he's come in, he's looked okay as well.
Yeah, I think he's way off, to be honest. I think the bigger problem would be more, obviously, attacking areas. We've got strength and depth now. But the midfield, I still feel that when you haven't got Henderson in there, we miss. There's a miss physically and the leadership as well. I didn't see anybody the other night. Maybe Robbo when he came on. He does it a little bit. But when the second corner, the third corner, the ball kept ending up in the net. I know 2 of them were disallowed. But I didn't see anybody digging anyone out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't always mean just by digging people out they're going to do it better. But where's the repercussion for the crap marking or the lack of concentration? Because Jordan, if you go and watch Liverpool or England play, all you can hear is Jordan Henderson organising, shouting, kicking people up the backside. Yeah. Didn't seem to have it in the first half. It was a really worrying display first.
Yeah, there's no one really vocal. You probably all saw what Jamie Carragher said after that Liverpool need 200 million to sort that midfield situation out. He kind of spoke about the players' age and the profile of players now, and maybe the young Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones maybe just ain't ready alongside Fabio Carvalho. And then you look at the older statesmen, and maybe we are starting to see them slow down a bit. Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, Milner, obviously. Do you think it is a case of a complete new rebuild in that midfield?
I think it would help to have additions because you're looking at competition for places. You're always looking at improving because the other clubs are improving. My philosophy on the Liverpool, call it a demise, but disappointing season is so many people have jumped on the midfield thing after being 2 games away from greatness last year and winning all 4. No one was talking about the midfield then, really. There was the odd conversation about who could we bring in maybe to improve it, but it's hard. People have jumped on it with hindsight, saying that this midfield needs reinventing. I still think if Fabinho, Thiago, and Henderson are fit, that 3 is capable, and I think the problem has been more of a mindset for the whole team, not just the midfield.
You think that 3 still have the legs? All of them in their 30s now?
Yeah, no, I do.
You think?
I think for this season, yeah. It wouldn't worry me I'd rather wait till the summer and get one they really want than rush in and get something now. But just to elaborate quickly on that, I said it before, and I don't mind repeating it because I think it's the truth. I think inevitably sometimes players get into a comfort zone where you're not feeling like your place is under threat. So therefore your performances drops. Then, of course, you have a few bad games where you lose a few games like they did earlier in the season, and confidence drops. And then you've got a mixture of both things coming together to create a bad team performance. I just felt too many players... There was a little bit of a hangover after last season, inevitably, when you miss out on the 2 big ones. But I thought at the beginning of the season there was a complacency about Liverpool that they've not recovered from because of lack of confidence, and then, of course, the criticism can affect your performance. So I don't think the midfield is as bad as people think. I think it's a team thing. You looked at the amount of goals Liverpool have conceded, which are individual errors at the back. Oh, unbelievable.
Hasn't happened in the past, has it?
No. And so it's not just the midfield, but I'm not naive enough to think the midfield doesn't need improvement. I think the one thing the midfield doesn't have now is strength and depth.
So, some will say, and a lot of Liverpool fans have, obviously, very happy with the Cody Gakpo signing, and he will play, he will score, but people are saying, why didn't you use that 35-40 million and get a midfielder? Like, it's obvious now you need bodies in that area. You're going to have Jota back soon, right? So you're going to have Firmino, Jota, Núñez and Salah. Do you really need another forward when you desperately crying out for a midfielder?
I could see Firmino leaving, certainly in the summer, if not this month. I think there'll be clubs looking at Firmino, maybe a West Ham.
He actually had a good start to the season, Firmino.
He did. Yeah. But it's pretty clear now he's fourth or fifth choice when everybody is fit for those front places. But I think you're right.
Injuries as well now.
Yeah, he does. But listen, half the Premier League will want Firmino if he's available. No question about that. Because we've been speaking about a lack of number 9s. And
Manu?
He certainly is right. Well, I think they're all right, actually. Was it 7 points the gap? I mean, seriously, though, do you think Liverpool will finish top 4? And how big a blow will it be if they don't?
Be a huge blow.
Because Bellingham won't go there. No chance.
I don't know about that. I think that having Champions League football is, of course, attractive for any player. But to think that Liverpool won't be there again, just if they fell out for one season, it would be only one season. But I still think,
competitive now, though, for those
I still
top
think
4
they'll
places. This season?
Yeah, I do.
At whose expense?
Man U or Newcastle, probably. Yeah.
On what basis are they going to finish ahead of United?
The basis that Liverpool, for God knows how long now, have been there and done it, and they've bounced back from adversity more than once when they've had a bad run. They're seasoned. They've done it before in terms of putting runs together that 9 wins, 8 wins, 10
Liverpool
wins.
and City, the only teams in this Premier League in the last sort of 5 years that maybe not so Liverpool this season, but can go on that 10-game win streak.
And when they get the firepower back, talked about Jota coming back, Gakpo coming in, they do make chances. Chances ain't going to be a problem.
So one defeat in 16 for Manchester United, isn't it?
Yeah, I think one
fairly good run.
I have to say, United are a worry.
Yeah,
a little concerned. Yeah.
I love that nervous laugh.
I think United will make top 4. There were some people pointing fingers when Liverpool started to have this dip early in the season at Jurgen Klopp, maybe for getting it wrong. I think at the start of the season, someone spoke to him about the midfield and he kind of just sort of listed off all the midfielders saying, look, we're fine, look at what we've got, I don't need a midfielder here. Can you point a bit of blame at him? Because he seems to be, amongst Liverpool fans anyway, it's almost like the person you can't blame for anything, Jurgen Klopp.
I don't know about it. I mean... Yeah, he's the man in charge of the team, so therefore, as soon as they have a bad spell, he's going to come on. There is going to be a question mark, but what he's achieved is phenomenal. You know, it's hard to criticise hardly any of the signings. He's improved most players who've come to the club. He's won all the trophies there is to win, so he's got plenty in the bank. I didn't see too many people, if any, really thinking that the midfield was going to be a problem area this
What about
season.
that change of profile? And you can see it, because, I mean, you look at Liverpool back in the day, I say back in the day, 3-4 years ago, it was an engine room, wasn't it? Ronaldo, Fabinho, Henderson. The profile of players changed as well, though, hasn't it? Now, Harvey Elliott, Carvalho, Thiago, I think, is a fantastic player, but it's almost like they've tried to, in a way, mimic what City have done with those type of players, Bernardo and Gundogan, rather than just stick to what got them success.
I think Thiago's the only one you could say would not fit the mould previously of Milner, Wijnaldum, Henderson, Fabinho. All the, I mean, Harvey Elliott's come in. He's a more small, fair, but he's a young player who wasn't expected to be in the team. Kite is somebody who's athletic, and that's
not worked at all.
No, not worked
at all.
Milner obviously couldn't keep maintaining the levels that he had 3 seasons ago. So they've lost him. They lost Wijnaldum. The strength and depth in midfield is a problem in terms of the athleticism that you talked about. But I still think he's trying to play the same way in the middle of the pitch. I still think he wants the players to be athletic and dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't think he's trying to change the way they play. I don't think he envisaged what's happened coming. Nobody did. I don't think he thought that the back players would be as bad. Individual errors we talked about earlier. I don't think he thought Fabinho would start the season poorly, because he's been so good and so reliable. You know, Henderson, for some reason, who I still think is the first choice midfielder for me on the team sheet at the moment, went earlier in the season when he was struggling. I mean, he was on the bench more than I've ever seen him, and I don't know why that was. Whether he had an injury problem, or whether the sports science guys were saying they talk about red zones and God knows what they look at in training these days. I think I think Liverpool have to look for a long-term replacement for Henderson, first and foremost, and then add more. For whether that's a Bellingham, that'd be ideal. Declan Rice, another one, that'd be ideal. Different players, but
that's your 200 million there, isn't it? That
no, but even if you get one of them initially, because Liverpool are good at finding diamonds in the rough. If they get one like that, gives everybody a lift, and they've both got wonderful athleticism. They both, you could see them both fitting into a Klopp style, couldn't you? I know that one's more holding and one's more attacking, but either one would be a huge addition to the midfield. The mindset change is the one, and the confidence. I don't know why. I just think Liverpool will go on a run. Nunez is going to start banging them in. He keeps getting in there. He can't keep missing. He can't.